Hey, how y'all doing? And thanks for tuning in to Wicked Warnings, your number one source for construction and emergency safety strobe lighting equipment for cars, vans, buses, bicycles, tricycles, SUVs, big rigs, little rigs, wheelchairs, and we got some real nice 2015 Ford Expedition. Stay tuned because this is an available kit for purchase. If you have a 2015 era body Expedition just like this one and you need a real solid four-corner kit, this is the video you want to be watching. Let me go over this entire package and show you how we did it. So what you're looking at in the front there, that's our low dome HAW Duo. That's an LED Hideaway we often use inside of a factory lens like we've used in the rear, except on this particular vehicle, we're using it right in the grille. Mounts extremely easy in the front grille of this vehicle and is available in all 6 colors, so you don't necessarily need amber if you prefer a different color. We have that low dome HAW in all the colors. We chose this because it was an extremely simple install, and this vehicle required a simple, effective 4-corner kit. We also added in our windshield light. Now, the windshield light, we went ahead and tied into the original switch, and we used the included suction cups to mount it right up underneath the rear view, or right up above the rear view mirror. It worked out very well. As you can see, the color blasts through the windshield, no problem. And whether or not you tie that to the switch or use the included cigarette plug on the windshield light, it's totally your choice. Very easy to do. Now, as you can see, around the back, we've also got a Hideaway. We chose our high dome for the rear, but you could very easily use a low dome too. Either one will work perfectly fine in this application. We just chose the high dome because it seems to throw the light around just a little bit better. Now, certain colors are only available in low dome. We have the high dome in amber and white, our most popular sellers. But for all the other colors, red, blue, green, and purple, we have the low dome. Now, as I said, if you want to use a low dome in the rear, no problem at all. You can end up with whatever color you like in the back of this. This particular Hideaway install is extremely easy in the rear. I've had some notes we're going to put on the end of this video, as well as all the tips and tricks that we have to install this, but it's a very novice install. If you own a vehicle like this and you need to get some warning on it, this is the package for you. Simple, effective, and quick. So let me go over the wiring just a little bit, what we're going to supply in this bundle. It's a very easy bundle. In the rear, we have a HD LED HAW Duo. That's a high dome HAW Duo in amber. And we're also going to supply you 30 feet of 18-5. That's going to be more than enough to extend the rear HAW Duo forward to your switch, and you will have a cutoff for extending the front HAW Duo also into the truck for the switch. We're also going to go ahead and put in 25 feet of our 18-2. That's going to be your power and ground. That's going to run from your battery to the switch. Now, the wiring for the rear is very easy. I got notes at the end of the video, shows you where to run the wire. Very easy to do. And then as far as wiring in the front, also super easy. Basically, you're just putting a short extension left over from the cutoff of the rear wire onto the front HAW Duo and extending it through the firewall to the switch. You'll also be passing through that firewall your power and ground, which we got right from the battery. Notes at the end of the video on all of this, as well as the switch location. Just so you can see right now, that's where we put our switch. We're going to go ahead with a solid illumination green on this particular build, but we do have all the colors of the switch, so you're not locked into that color. And if you prefer a small dot illumination, maybe you don't like the bright light switch, you can get those as well. We have a small dot or full illumination, depending on what your look is that you're after. So just a recap of the contents of this particular bundle and what you're going to be getting. You're going to get a low dome amber HAW Duo for the front. You're going to get a high dome amber HAW Duo for the rear. You're going to get 30 feet of 18-5. That's going to be used to extend the rear and the front. You're going to get an amber white dual head windshield light, just like you see right there. You're going to get a single switch full illumination green. You're also going to get a fuse kit, which is going to allow you to fuse the power lead at the battery. We're going to throw in some 1/8-inch heat shrink and a package of uninsulated butt connectors. Those are going to be used to extend the 18-5 from the HAW Duo to your switch. It'll also be used to attach the fuse to the 18-2. And the only thing you'll be left on your end to purchase, if you'd like, is a little bit of split loom to wrap it, some of your electrical tape, and a couple of ring terminals for the battery possibly, and some spade terminals for the back of the switch. Terminals I have not yet put into our kits. I'm trying to work on a terminal supplier where I can start to supply all those as the kits, but as of now, you'll need a couple of terminals and some minor electrical supplies like electrical tape and zip ties. I may put a pack of 100 zip ties in here as well, just so you have them, and that'll be this bundle. Very simple, very effective, very easy. Stay tuned for all the details on the end of this video about this kit, and as I said, if you have an Expedition that looks like this, if you got a grill that looks like this, everything will work the same. So thanks again for watching Wicked Warnings, your #1 source for construction and emergency safety strobe lighting equipment for cars, vans, buses, bicycles, tricycles, everything in between for personals and or townships, like Homer Township here, one of our great clients that we've done many builds for, established in 1836. If you're ever in the Chicago south suburb areas, you might want to swing through Homer Township and check them out. It's a real nice area. So thanks again for watching Wicked Warnings. Again, stay tuned for all the details, and we'll see you guys on the next build. All right, fans, here's just a little detail on the back as far as the hideaways are going to be concerned in this Expedition kit. Here's our final result. We've got our hideaway installed right there. It works out very nicely in that location, and I'll show you here on the back of this light here. That's where we mount it. Okay, very easy to either heat your hole or cut your hole right there, 1 inch like that. We seal it up with a little RTV. I don't really use the included foam gasket. I use RTV sealant, as you can see there. And as far as how we got that wire, it's coming along in the back here. You can see it tucked under there. We put a little bit of our headlight seal tape on it there to keep it. We tucked it along the back of this carpet here. We reached and got behind here to keep it away from this snap piece. This piece here is going to go back here after the fact. Sorry about the focus, guys. This isn't my normal camera. So this piece is going to snap back down there. And the way we got this through is over here. This bottom vent, you can see I just lifted up the rubber temporarily, and there's a hole right there. So we lift up the rubber and we pass the wiring through the hole, and then we let the rubber come back down. The wire's going to come down here, kind of make a little bit of a loop and go right up into the light. And that way that rubber shield keeps the water wicking down and out of the vehicle, and we have no issues. So there's your pass through. Looks just like that on both sides. And it's going to put the wire right down in here. You could also kind of reach in like this and get it. There's an access panel here. As far as how to get this wire forward, we're going to sneak it from that panel forward. We're going to use a fish tape or something, and we're going to come actually right to over here in this panel. We're going to probably pull this apart. We're going to lift this up, and we're going to take that wire from that panel forward along the kick all the way up to our switch. Okay, so that's going to be where you're going to run that main wire for your rear hideaway. We're going to be giving you one set of rear hideaways, and that main wire, your 18.5, is going to go right along here up to your switch, controls all the functions of the hideaway. So that's kind of the detail on the back end as far as how we're wiring the hideaways here on the back of this Expedition in this 4-corner kit. All right, guys, when you get that put back here, you run the wiring underneath this panel here, comes up very easily, running it forward. We pop the weather stripping off, we pop this panel off very easily. As you can see, it just clips in. We're running our wiring right here. It's going to come up here. Now, on this dash panel right here, 1 7mm bolt down there, and this panel can come off. You can kind of work this out a little to get it from behind there. And where we're going to mount our switch is right here. You could probably go here too if you'd like. Maybe I'll go here, I'm not sure. Pretty much any one of these 4 corners would work. I can kind of feel up behind there. There's nothing back there. So any one of these 4 corners will work. Your preference. I think I'm going to go right here with it. We're going to drill a 3/4 hole. That's where our switch is going to go. And as far as running our wire through the firewall, this is going to be pretty standard. We can do it a couple of different ways. We can go through that factory boot right there with our wire insertion tool very, very carefully. We can drill a new hole, kind of your call on that. I think we're going to go through the boot with our wire insertion tool. But as I said, we usually take the inner layer off. We're extremely, I can't stress it enough, extremely careful going through that factory boot with a wire tool. Otherwise, if you're, apprehensive about that, sorry about that. If you're apprehensive about that, you could probably drill a hole somewhere here near it. So that's a detail on running the wiring and getting up to your switch here. We're going to grab our fused power right from the battery. That way we're not screwing around with anything underneath the dashboard, and we'll have a nice waterproof fuse holder right on the battery. All right, everybody, just a little detail here. Obviously, power and ground at the battery. Got a fuse holder we've supplied right here. The way we do it, I like to zip tie the wire after I put the terminal on it to the battery cable to keep it from getting pulled off. You can see here I zip tied my power wire there. That way if anybody yanks on it, it doesn't pull the connection loose at the actual terminal. Changing batteries and stuff, the guys are usually a little bit rough, so I try to secure that wiring. We came this way with it. We're going to go this way. Here in the front, this is where we mounted our Hideaway Duo low dome right here on this grill. If you have the same grill, you can do the very same thing. We glued it from the back with RTV silicone. Very easy to do. Just a little bit of silicone adhesive on the back there, and you can squeeze it right through that 1-inch hole. If you don't have a 1-inch unibit, we'll be supplying some soon, but in the meantime, you can check out a seller called Drill Hog on eBay. They have 1-inch, otherwise a 1-inch hole saw works. I do want to point out the location of this hole. You can see how it's down towards the bottom of the opening. It's not quite centered. That's intentional because there's a flat spot on top, and we want to keep it down low enough so the light can actually be mounted. We're going to bring the wiring right around the back, and we're coming through this way like this, and then we bring the wiring through here. All right, we joined it up here. We ran the other wiring this way, right underneath all this. We'll put this cover back down on it. You can see on this side how we ran the wiring through here as well, and brought it up right here and carried over this way. We put a little split loom to decorate it up. That's totally optional. We're bringing it around this way, and here you can see where we have our mounted our flasher module and our power and ground wire, and the power and ground for our flasher module is also running. We're going to run that all through in there, and we're going to make all those connections behind our switch for our power and ground for our 2 flasher modules. We'll go ahead and, if we need to, set the pattern right there as well with the blue pattern wires by the switch. And there's no need to synchronize these 2 modules, so the yellow wire will not be used. There's also no need for the white wire, the flood. We're not going to use that one either. So really all you're concerned with at the other end of these modules, at the other end of the Hideaway module, is your red power, your black ground, and your blue negative pattern to adjust the pattern to set it on the one that you like after you power and ground and turn it on. So once they're activated, touch the blue wire to negative to set the pattern on the 2 front lights, and that way you can pick whatever pattern you want. As I said, there are quite a few patterns, and that's as easy as it is. So we're going to run that wire right through the firewall now. Just wanted to show you how this ends up turning out and how we ran the wiring there, so you can do the very same on your Expedition if you happen to have this very same grill. Now, if you didn't have this grill and you wanted to swap to an alternate location, you could easily put a number of different lights right here if you wanted. We could do that, or you can end up with some kind of a grill light under here too if you wanted. So many different options, but this kit, very easy, very quick, very simple for a 4-corner Amber on this Expedition.